sponsored by dark money, but funded by listeners like you.
What you know you can't explain. But you feel it. You felt it your entire life. That there's something wrong. You don't know what it is, but it's there. Like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. Experience the awakening. Brilliant anonymous researchers. Patriots, join us in the Patriot Army. Trust the plan, pain coming. Boom, boom, boom. Let's go. RedStateTalkRadio.com, Brighteon.tv, Rumble.com/MG Show. The end won't be for everyone. That choice to know will be yours. Where we go one, we go all. Fight, 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 and fight we will. We fight every day right here on the MG Show.
Hello. Hang on. I got to be right back, Shady. You got to take it.
Welcome to the MG Show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here. I am almost in the chat. Thank you, everybody. We are live here on Wednesday. It is September the 17th. It is Constitution Day. I'd like to thank you all for joining us. I'd like to thank you all for being able to use the meat between your ears. I'm telling you right now, everything that you have been prepared for, everything that you have learned, everything that we have done here with the MG Show for the last 8 years. It's been, I think we're coming around on whatever it is in season 7 right now, that you have been put in the position that you are in for a reason. The reason should be clear. Have you seen the internet within the last 24 to 48 hours be lit on fire by a number of very precarious operators out there? I'm not going to mince any words. I'm going to call them out by name right here to you, ladies and gentlemen. I am talking about Candace Owens. I am talking about Tucker Carlson, and I am talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene. These people are literal lunatics, and they are leading the lunatic brigade, and all of the flim-flam flavored freaks are jumping right on board, and they are running downstream from common sense.
Yeah, you know, let's just like commonsensically look at this. Let's put our common sense hats on, Shady.
Yes, sir.
So the Jews did it.
Oh, no.
Okay.
How terrible.
Who are we going to arrest?
I really don't know.
Do we have, I mean, we got a person that dated a transgender person that's a Mormon that has DNA on the trigger.
Yes, sir.
I don't believe the messages either. Stop it, guys. You guys are, you guys, not you guys, but people have been so mind melded into bullshit. I can't take it anymore. Look.
Crazy.
Can we arrest somebody? Who's the victim? Charlie Kirk, but not the victim of a Jew. He's a victim of a Mormon. I'm tired of it, guys. We caught the killer in 33 hours. Oh, well, 33 means that the Masons did it and they gave him 33 hours to escape. I mean, it's getting beyond freaking ridiculous, folks. And, people with Q in their names are posting this bullshit. And I have no affinity to those people, okay?
None.
Me being Q'd many times and love Q and reported on Q along with you, Shady.
Yes, sir.
Have no affinity to General Flynn, to any of these people with the Q in their names that are misleading you. You are being misled. Your movement has been infiltrated. Okay? I mean, we have Kash Patel at the head of the FBI. Our guy. Okay? Not James Comey, not Ray, Kash frickin' Patel. And they're mad. There's a problem with Kash and Trump. No, there isn't. President Trump posted Kash yesterday. I mean, people are so frickin' mind melded, man. You know, this cognitive dissonance is they're trying to make you hate Israel, guys.
Yep.
Why?
Yep.
I mean, we're saving Israel for last. Could something happen? Yes, we're wait for that. We wait for news to unlock map. But this isn't it.
What you're seeing out there, what we have witnessed in the last 48 hours is unbelievable. Now you have Charlie Kirk's pastor. You have a number of other people that are connected to him coming out and saying, Bill Ackman came out and disputed Tucker Carlson's assertions yesterday. Candace Owens is literally just she's got AI writing this stuff or something. It is crazy what they are saying about Charlie Kirk wasn't even in real contact with Candace Owens for crying out loud for a number of years. Candace was there at the beginning of Turning Point, and then they went their separate ways. Guys, listen, we have to recognize that you can be
properly query that system.
You can be led to see anything with anything. You can be tricked. The human condition. I want to explain this real quick, Jeff, and it's going to take just a second. The human condition, you as a human being, you only have a certain spectrum of light that your eyes see. You only have a certain spectrum of sound that your ears hear. There's other different spectrums of light and sound that are outside your perception as a human being. You have intuition to help you with some of those things. You have to use it right now and pay attention. Now, what people are pushing back on me, whenever I'm saying that something that someone is asserting is a lie, people are saying, prove that it's a lie. No, I don't have to prove that what they're asserting is a lie. They didn't prove what they asserted to begin with. I'm asking for people to prove what they asserted, and people are telling me that I'm asserting something. No, you're not realizing that the person that just made some sort of crazy accusation has absolutely no evidence to back up what they're saying. They're just saying something that your cognitive dissonance wanted to hear somehow.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, Israel owns our Congress, not the Muslim Brotherhood or the communists. No,
Israel does not own your Congress, guys.
You know, you guys are not thinking right.
Oh, wow.
There's Israel owns our Congress. You mean not the Muslim Brotherhood and the communists?
Israel and Mossad are not the same thing. Let me get this through your thick heads. Israel and Mossad are not the same thing. Zionism and Israel is not the same thing. Okay? Jewry and Israel is not the same thing.
That's right.
All these things are different. There's nuance. You're just making broad statements. You're not. In America, this is about the individual. You're addicted to conspiracy. You're addicted to thinking you know things that you can't prove.
Yeah. Your head is not thick. Thank you. Thank you. I'm not saying your head is thick, but I'm debunking your claim. I just don't know how people can just say stuff and make it true. You know, for example, the burden of proof is on the one making the claim, Pastor Shadowley, $2 Rumble rant, 100%. Let the booms begin. Thank you, Real Iron Eagle. I'm telling you guys right now that, you know, there is a lot of psyops on you guys right now. Can't we just understand that? Why do they want to cover up 764? Because I have a feeling that's what it's going to lead to, not Israel. How about 764? We had to explain to somebody in here what 764 was. They didn't even know what it was. Why? Because they've been hiding it. BX on X is talking about 764, and they attack her. Imagine that. Mm-hmm. Seraphin. Why?
And it's interesting too, Jeff, because this is something that hit me yesterday whenever we were watching the Kash Patel hearings. The reason that conspiracy is able to multiply and breed is because of lack of information coming from the federal government. This has been the case for decades. The FBI doesn't give us any information, and so because they don't give us any information, then people just come out and create all these conspiracies. This is different. The FBI gave you the information. The FBI gave you the text messages. The FBI told you, oh, we got our guy. And then they're like, oh, no, we don't have our guy. We're still looking for our guy. They told you in real time. They thought they had their guy, and they didn't have their guy, so they didn't have their guy. And that's upsetting to everybody. Yeah. That is real. That's something different, something that we've never seen happen before. Transparency is something that's going on. But now they're taking the transparency to Alex Jones people and all these people that are, quote, addicted to conspiracy. They're taking the text messages and saying, oh, these aren't the real, these text messages are completely scripted. Yeah. No, they're not scripted. If anything, there might be a couple messages that aren't in the chain so that to protect the witness being the lover of Tyler. He's a witness. If he is a good witness, you know what? He helps us prosecute him. He helps us get the death penalty for him because he testifies against him. Therefore, the state will protect a witness that is cooperating. I'm so tired of people pretending like they don't understand our system and how it functions.
Yeah, and apparently Cash is again on the oversight of the Federal Bureau, the House Judiciary and the Federal Bureau Investigation. Real quick, somebody says, why does 764 equal 17? Because 764 is a zip code that they picked because they knew it was going to be Q? Oh, come on, man.
Yeah.
These number guys are starting to get on my nerves.
That's not how it works.
I love you, though. All right, so let's go over to Cash because apparently it's getting pretty spicy. All right, let's go look. Check it out. Thank you, Red Pill Pusher. And guys, just follow the facts. The guy's DNA was on the gun, okay? Well, let's let our FBI do their jobs.
I understand. Listen, Jeff, I would like to temper what I've been saying to say this to you. We are going to follow the facts. If the facts lead to there being more people involved behind Tyler Robinson and his setup to do this, then we are going to follow that as the information comes out. But at this moment, I'm telling you that I have not seen one shred of evidence that points to this being a larger event. It looked like to me in the text chain that he's told him that he's been working on this for come up with this like a week ago. I put the note under your keyboard. The kid destroyed the note under the keyboard. At this point, it does not look, he used the rifle. Now we understand the whole dynamics of the rifle. The screwdriver was on the roof. He took the rifle apart. Before he took it down, he left the screwdriver. The gun was not assembled in the wooded area like all of these people are trying to say. The gun was assembled. How did he reassemble it? That's fake news. The picture of the gun in the box that they put out was not the real gun. That was just a picture of a gun that is similar. And the father of the guy recognized his dad's gun. Okay, the gun was Tyler's grandfather's gun. The 30-06 was Tyler's grandfather's gun that he used to shoot Charlie Kirk. That gun was recognized by his father. That helped the FBI identify that it was him. He was calling his kid and saying, this is our granddad's gun? What's going on? The shell casing that the bullet left that killed Charlie Kirk was in the gun. There was no bullet in the shell casing, which means that gun was fired that day. There was only one shot that rang out. Guys, everything Shady just said is a stone cold fact.
Yeah. All right, I'm sorry. This lady said, okay, anyways. All right, so we're going to do this. We're going to go look at Jim Jordan real quick. Check it out. Kash Patel, Jim Jordan here, and let's listen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Patel, before you joined the FBI, you had very strong opinions about what the FBI was hiding regarding Jeffrey Epstein. In a September 2023 interview with Glenn Beck, you said the Black Book is under the, quote, direct control of the director of the FBI. In December 2023, you said, let us know who the pedophiles are. Even for a short time after becoming FBI director, in February of 2025, you tweeted, quote, there will be no cover-ups, no missing documents, no stone left unturned. In June, you told Joe Rogan, quote, we've reviewed all the information. We're going to give you every single thing we have and can. But then suddenly in July, everything changed. You and Attorney General Pam Bondi released one video and said that there was nothing more to see. Your July memo says you uncovered more than 300 gigabytes of data and physical evidence, but that you had decided no further disclosure would be appropriate or warranted. That is a quote. I think what happened, Mr. Patel, is that suddenly you discovered that Donald Trump's name was all over these files, and you started a giant cover-up. So you are under oath, Mr. Patel. You just testified to Mr. Swalwell that you did not speak to the president about the Epstein files. To your knowledge, did Attorney General Pam Bondi speak to the president about what was in the Epstein files?
I can't speak for Attorney General Pam Bondi.
So to your knowledge, you don't have any information. The question was, do you have any knowledge? Do you have any knowledge?
I can't speak.
You are refusing to answer the question. So let me tell you that the Wall Street Journal reported that in May, Bondi told Trump that he was in the Epstein files, and at the same meeting said that the DOJ did not plan to release the files. Yesterday, you testified to Senator Kennedy that there was, quote, no credible information that Epstein trafficked girls to anyone else, and that you have, quote, continuously and publicly asked the public to come forward with more information, and we'll look into it. Today, in response to Mr. Massey's question, you appear to say that the survivors were not credible. These are survivors.
That's not at all what I said.
Okay, great. I'm going to ask you this in a second, but let me tell you about the survivors, and let's bring them up here into the room. These are women who came to the Hill and testified that they were groomed and raped at the age of 14 and 16 years old, and they called to meet with the president and to meet with the FBI and to have people investigate their claims. Some of them have never testified before. If you are so interested in getting the public to submit any information, why have you not met with them? You said you haven't met with them. Have you met with them? I'll give you one more chance.
My job as the FBI director is to invite all investigative leads. Is the answer yes or no
to whether or not you met with these women who were sexually abused and raped?
Any insinuation by you or any people on your side that I am not manhunting child predators and sex traffickers, just look at the stats. And you talk about cover-ups, man.
Mr. Chairman,
you talk about cover-ups.
And I will take as much time as I
Where were
want.
you during the Obama and
witness,
Biden administrations when these so-called cover-ups were going on? Why didn't anyone in those administrations talk to any of these purported witnesses? I have
some regular order,
every single person to provide credible information.
Time belongs to the gentlelady from Washington.
And I'm going to take another
couple of minutes.
When
you accuse the witness of something, he's allowed to respond. That's how it works.
Listen, he didn't even, excuse me, Mr. Chairman, you have always been fair. But this is not fair.
And you will get your,
this is my time, and he said that the witnesses were not credible.
Seconds of time.
I'm going to get an additional minute of time because that's how much time he took.
You won't get a minute. You'll get some seconds. What we think is under 5 minutes. You don't get to demand how much time you get. That's not how it works.
Mr. Patel, are the victims of the Jeffrey Epstein horrific trafficking ring, are they credible?
Any person with information about ongoing sexual trafficking.
I'm asking you if they're credible.
Ma'am, I'm commenting on the evidence we have. But we have routinely asked for people to come forward with more evidence, and we will look at it. And the evidence that we have was the same evidence that the Biden and Obama Justice Departments had. And they determined, not me, they determined that that information was not credible.
Chairman, he's not letting me even ask my questions.
You ask the questions, he gives an answer. You may not like what he says, but that doesn't mean you get to interrupt him.
He's not answering my question.
Mr. Chairman, could we restore the gentlelady 45 seconds so she can complete her question?
We'll give her additional 30 seconds, which is what I said earlier.
I'm going to keep taking my time. Because
no, you'll take the time that you get.
You are not answering the question. The question is,
you just don't like the answer.
Are these women credible? It's a yes or no answer.
I have answered the question.
Well, what is the answer?
I'm telling you, I'm the only FBI director that has welcomed new information in this case. This administration is the only one that has welcomed any new information in this case.
Is there a yes or no to
present new credible information? Present new information.
Are the victims credible or not?
I'll tell you what happened in the last Trump administration.
Are they credible or not? You can't even say.
Victims credibly came forward, and you know what happened? President Trump authorized the indictments of Jeffrey Epstein. Not Biden, not Obama.
President Trump
no one else.
called the entire thing a Democratic hoax. So I would like to ask
the gentlelady's time has expired. I gave her the additional 45 seconds she requested. The gentlelady yields back. The gentleman from New Jersey is recognized for his 5 minutes.
If you would meet with the women who were sexually abused and raped and groomed
time does
at
not
the
belong
ages
to the
of
gentlelady from
14
Washington.
and
The time now
16
belongs-
years old. Are
the
you
time-
going to cover up?
No, I'm
Are
not
you
gonna-
going to
I'm
continue
gonna
to
recognize
cover
the
up
gentleman
for
from
the
New Jersey
rich
for
and
his 5 minutes.
powerful men, including those that might be on this committee?
I can yell
Or
too,
are
Mr.
you
Chairman,
going
but I don't want to
to
yell
allow
above
them
this.
to
The time belongs
testify?
to the gentleman from New Jersey. I
Are you
appreciate the
going to allow
gentlelady
them to
yielding.
testify,
Wow.
Mr. Patel?
Go ahead,
Will
Mr.
you
Angelo.
allow them to testify to
I'd like to
you,
ask a question,
Mr.
Jeff.
Patel?
Mr.
I'd like to ask a question to our audience after watching this. I'd like to ask each and every one of you, what is the difference between what you were seeing from her right there and what you're seeing from Thomas Massey? What's the difference between what you're seeing from her right there and what you saw from Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson and all of these other idiots out there that are currently telling you that there's problems and it's the Jews and all this different stuff about Charlie Kirk? It's the same exact people. It's the same exact people doing the exact same thing they're doing right now. It's very interesting, isn't it? All of these quote unquote anti-Jewish people just happen to agree with all of the quote unquote pro-Palestinian anti-Israel people. So right there, you're seeing a pro-Palestinian anti-Israel person doing the exact same thing that Thomas Massey and Candace Owens and all of these people have been doing about Jeffrey Epstein for how long now? Can someone please help me by telling me what the freaking difference is? Because there is none. There is no difference. The things that these people were doing that are quote unquote on your side are no different than that bumbling moron you just saw right there.
You know, what's interesting is it is a hoax. And, you know, she's asking the question, are these people credible? I'm going to say they're not. I'm going to say this because I did the research and realized that the scam was a scam. They made up fake victims. They charged, you know, oh, you won $20 million. Then the big players came in and said, we'll give you $5 million now, but we'll keep your $20 million. It is a hoax, guys. Really, and you were going to find that out. And the people that Epstein trafficked was to himself, and he was found guilty. Okay, we should be happy about that. Now, do we have any evidence that anybody else was on the island with another minor? No, we don't have a victim. There's no victim to do a crime. You got to have a victim in order to have a crime, guys. We can't even say Bill Clinton had sexual relations with that woman on Epstein Island because there's no victim. So there's no victim, there's no crime. You can't do it, Shady.
It's the exact same thing. What you guys are witnessing is you are witnessing a psychological operation. They are controlling both sides of the conversation. Yeah. Hamas is controlled by the same globalists that control Mossad. Hamas and Mossad are the exact same thing. Neither of those things are Israel. Yeah. I'm sorry to tell you that. You are wrong. If you think that Mossad and Hamas are Israel and not puppets of the globalist elite, you're a lunatic. I don't know what to tell you.
So we have the flight logs, okay? So we have the flight logs. Is there a victim? So you can infer things. Q even said, you can infer things from the flight logs. Infer doesn't mean charge, guilty, send them away, does it?
Can I ask you a question, Jeff?
Yes.
Is there an airport on Little St. James? No, there isn't. No. There's not an airport on the island. Okay, so the flight logs show you flights to other places. So if you want to know what someone did or went to the island or whatever, then you need a submarine log, or you need a little boat log, or a ferry log, or something else, because there are no.
You need a victim
on Little St. James, and there are no victims that are saying that Jeffrey Epstein, or like right now, what we heard from the testimony, Kash Patel said specifically that there is zero evidence that Jeffrey Epstein got anybody else a minor. There's no evidence that Epstein was like getting minors for politicians. He said that. I'm sorry, everybody wants to believe that that's what Jeffrey Epstein was doing. Well, there's no evidence that shows that. I don't know what to tell people. So now, don't you realize that the psychological operation were the people that were telling us that they were all of these victims of Jeffrey Epstein?
Yeah. So I got a question here, Land of Hoya. Q posted the list. What was that list showing? People that went to the island. And you can infer infer things.
People that flew off the plane.
You can't prove things. We highlighted the Epstein for a very specific reason, because it's a psyop.
And it really
fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. And they changed the narrative, and we reported on it incorrectly, Shady.
Well, I went back last night and I was rereading the Epstein drops, and the Epstein came up very, very early on. And whenever you see it, you can kind of see it a little differently, much like what we saw with the Flynn thing.
Yeah.
If you go back and you read into it, the flight logs were the airplane. There was a specific airplane, and so they were flying all over the place. All the people that were on the flight logs, they were flying to Europe. They were flying to all kinds of places. So the flight logs are people that were on the plane,
right,
not on the island.
Now, also, it also said that, it's a tale of two, satanic worship and pedophilia. Okay. So those people, who was pedophilia, who was Satan worship, you don't know. There's no victims, guys. We need the victims. We need the victims, if there are any, if this is a psyop. I mean, look who's all over it today. The Democrats and the fake Q people. Wow.
I mean, they're really,
and the victims took a pay and signed an NDA. That is absolutely correct, Moody.
Right. And the victims were victims of Jeffrey Epstein's shenanigans. We literally have zero. Again, there is no evidence that anybody else ever accused Jeffrey Epstein of prostituting or pimping a minor to them. There's no evidence of that. It's not out there. It's out there in the psychological operation world, like intensely, but there's no people that make that claim. And in America, you can't prosecute somebody because you think something.
That's right. Or the victims are buried somewhere. Absolutely. We don't have a victim.
That's possible.
And General Flynn knows where the bodies are buried.
He won't tell us.
And he had a list of all the pedophiles, according to Roger Stone.
And it seems like that, he keeps screaming. And what is he? And he was also screaming and yelling about the Epstein thing, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Losing his mind about the Epstein thing. All of these people associated with Flynn losing their mind over the Epstein thing, saying that he was a child trafficker. Kash Patel just told you that there's no evidence that he was a child trafficker. So again, we can put that in the column of Flynn Flam wrong.
So Murphy's Law said Virginia died under odd circumstances because she spoke out. I disagree with you all. You can disagree all you want, but bring me the proof to make me agree with you, because you don't have any.
But she wasn't claiming that Jeffrey Epstein was pimping out children to other people, guys. She was making claims about her experiences with Jeffrey Epstein, and possibly she had other information, and possibly she was taken out. But you don't know that she was that doesn't prove that Jeffrey Epstein was pimping out children to other people. It's not a ring. It's not a ring if there's not a bunch of people participating in it.
Yeah. Herbie Outlaw says victims paid to keep quiet. Possibly. We will never know. Well, somebody wrote a book about it. Somebody wrote a book about fake victims being paid like a J.G. Wentworth scheme. You want a $20 million settlement. It's a fake victim, and they give the victim $5 million. NDA sign here. You're done. And then Jeffrey Epstein and his ilk keep the $20 million bet.
Nice scam.
And they pay off $5 million and win $15 million.
Pretty good.
That's the scam.
I understand that Q made it clear that something was going on at Little St. James, but we don't have any evidence of anything.
Yeah. Crazy, guys.
And Kash Patel is now telling you that there's no evidence of anything.
And nobody can understand that.
If the evidence was destroyed, the evidence was destroyed. If the basement was filled up with concrete, the basement was filled up with concrete. You have to understand that you cannot prosecute anybody without evidence. It's like are you guys vigilantes too?
Mm.
You want the head on the pike? Like, I don't want heads on pikes, guys. I like law and order. You guys
letter of the law.
I like letter of the law. That's what I like.
Yeah.
That's what I want to be treated. If I do something wrong, I want to be treated by the letter of the law. I don't want a bunch of people coming in and saying.
If there are no victims, why is Ghislaine Maxwell in prison? Because she trafficked children to Jeffrey Epstein. Hello? Are people like?
She admitted to it. She's guilty of what she's in jail for.
Yeah. See how people's minds are just not right?
Kash Patel had misunderstandings, just like all of us had misunderstandings. Whenever you've had a misunderstanding, you need to make it an understanding. You can't just continue on with your misunderstanding once you have new information.
Yep. Q said cameras are allowed in. Okay, great. Where's the evidence of the victims now? Bones. It doesn't matter, guys. We need the victim. I mean, put your logic hat on. I mean, you're convicting Israel for a shooting that a Mormon did.
Like literally, like they're like all. It's almost like the Mormons are blaming the Jews.
It's weird.
And it's almost like the Catholics are blaming the Jews. Yeah. It's almost like the Catholics and the Mormons are working together to make you think it's the Jews. I mean, go.
What you're looking at, go reread the Q posts. Are we back?
Nice.
All right, we are back. But wow, it's amazing how we get censored by talking about this stuff. Go reread the Q posts on Epstein, okay? You're going to have a whole different understanding of it now, guys, I tell you. But isn't it funny how they don't really want this show on, Shady?
I think that it's really interesting, the times in which things happen whenever we're broadcasting.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's always around this topic, and it's always around us trying to tell people that it isn't Jewish people that is your problem.
It's so crazy. Real quick, now that we got it, Shady Group.
Okay.
Let's just do this real quick.
Hammer them down.
Hey, football fans, are you ready for some primetime NFL action? Tune in to Westwood One for all the gridiron glory you crave, from jaw-dropping touchdowns to game-changing plays. Do not miss a moment of the excitement. Catch every snap, every tackle, and every victory in Westwood One. You can listen to the NFL on the NFL app, on the Westwood One Sports app, on WestwoodOneSports.com via Westwood One station streams, or by asking Alexa. Open Westwood One Sports. And if it's the NFL, it's on Westwood One. All right, Shady.
Oh, boom.
Our show is totally going sideways, isn't it? Like, wow. All right. So we say it's not the Jews, and then puff, we're gone. Isn't that weird, Brett?
It's so interesting. And then other people say it, and like, poof, they get amplified.
Boom. 5 million views on X.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Jeez. Oh, my God. So, all right. So here we go. Let's go back to this. It's getting pretty spicy over here. Kash Patel, we want to thank the UK for rolling out the red carpet to your president, my president, because we're respected again. God bless you, President Donald J. Trump. Wow.
And I'll tell you something. If that doesn't tell you something that nothing else you see will tell you, who is in control right now and who is in control of the said order, I'd like to point your attention to the Balfour Declaration. For all of you people that love to virtue signal about Israel and all this nonsense, well, it's just interesting that the country that initiated the Balfour Declaration, that financially backed it, that literally pushed it, that initiated 2 world wars, well, that country looks to me like they are submitting to your president right now. That country looks like they're saying, oh my God, I can't believe you're charging me this much for tariffs. Please, sir, don't do that. Oh, we didn't mean to do that, sir. Here's a horse-drawn carriage. Here is a gift. Here is another gift. Here is a band to play for your beautiful country. We love you. That right there, my friends, is what you call a change of order.
Yeah. Real quick, Red Pill Pusher. No, the Masons did not open the Mormon Church. The Russell bloodline opened the Mormon and the Jehovah Witness Church. The only 2 churches that were initiated by the bloodlines. And somebody else said here, Bethy, so if everything Q has said is not true, why are we in this fight? It's all BS. No.
What do you...
It's just like, my God, guys. All right, I'm going to go back to this so my
You
blood
never
pressure can
blamed
go
the
down.
Jews. Q did not blame Jewish people, everybody. Q explained to you that it was a Satanist, globalist cult that has embedded itself within every single religion. It doesn't matter if it's Protestant, Catholic. It doesn't matter if it's Jewish or Muslim. It doesn't matter if it's Islam, or it doesn't matter if it's whatever.
Yeah.
They have infiltrated everything.
Back to this.
Patel, thank you for being here. I know it's been an interesting and difficult 2 days.
Yes, it
I
has.
wasn't going to talk about the Epstein thing because there's a lot of other issues that affect the FBI, but I have to say a few words. I've sat here, I've listened to this, I've watched it, and you know, my Democratic colleagues are so concerned now, Mr. Patel, all of a sudden. Where were they last year? Where were they the year before? Where were they the year before that? Where was the last president in any of this? Well, all I know, the only thing I see is a single letter from the ranking member that was sent in 2019 that he didn't like the plea deal, and some people signed on to that. Most of the truth, the real truth, let's be honest, let's be intellectually honest. The real truth is we didn't hear from them at all. Anybody of them. Hardly any of them ever mentioned it. Some of them didn't mention it at all until the beginning of this year. Earlier in the year it started. Not one Democrat asked Director Wray. We all remember Director Wray was here. Not once, not twice, multiple times. Nobody asked Director Wray about Epstein before this committee. Nobody was that concerned. Where was the concern for the victims then? Where was the moral righteousness then? Where was the outrage then? Where was the sense of duty then? Where was the desire for accountability then? Where was the urgency for justice then? Most of all, where the hell was the integrity then? You know what the truth is. Let's just say it, man. Tell the truth time. The truth is, it's politically useful for them to try to do this now, even though they didn't give a damn about it in the past. And you know what? That's an insult to the victims, and that's an insult to America. Continue to do the work you're doing. Continue to uncover what needs to be uncovered. One real quick thing before I say anything to 9/11. We know that was mishandled by the past director and by the past FBIs. There are family members here. There are family members who are concerned. God Almighty, we want to get to the truth of that. I ask you, please, to meet with them, to talk to them, and to investigate this with truth. You know, in the Biden administration, we went through a very dark and difficult period of time. The FBI trust was broken with the people. Catholics were, this is the stuff we've been talking about, were labeled radical threats for praying in their churches with their rosaries. Parents at school boards were called terrorists for standing up for their children. Hindu holy men in New Jersey. We have the largest Hindu temple in the world. They were attacked. They were put up against the wall with guns to their heads. So it isn't just a Catholic or Christian thing. American Jews were targeted in colleges and universities, and a lot of folks in the FBI, in the past FBI, not this one, didn't give a damn. We can't go back to targeting religion. We can't go back to silencing free speech. The Biden administration did that. So I got questions for you. Hopefully thoughtful questions that you can answer for us in a thoughtful way. How is this FBI now, under your leadership, how are we restoring trust for Catholics, for Hindus, for Jews, for parents, for all the other, for just American people that were targeted by FISA because they had a different viewpoint? How are we restoring that trust in the FBI?
Multiple ways, sir. One, and maybe most importantly, is through transparency and providing the American public with the material so they can see, read it themselves as to what the abuses were in the past, whether it relates to the Catholic memo or the Hindu incident you talked about at the largest temple in North America. Any institution of faith and any member of faith will not be investigated by this FBI because they are men and women of faith ever, period.
And nor should they. Nor should they. I don't mean to interrupt you, but my God, of all the amendments to the freedom of speech, freedom to believe in what you want to believe in, I know you're standing up for that. Continue. I'm sorry.
No, that's it. Sorry.
Okay. The Richmond memo was driven by a reliance on sources. The Southern Poverty Law Center, you know, the words sound nice, but the organization's not so nice. And we've seen the Anti-Defamation League distort data that counts as violence. Have you been able to identify and eliminate these kinds of partisan sources? We welcome all sources, but we want objectivity and neutrality and decency in the way we report all this. Have you been able to uncover any information there? How do we make sure our sources are good in the future?
We have reviewed the source processes that infiltrate any institutions of faith, and they will no longer be going into institutions of faith. They will be directed towards criminal activity and protecting the homeland, the two most important missions the FBI has, and that's what we're going to continue to do.
Good. And I'll say this, there was a lot of bull today, a lot of you know what, and I'm not going to say it because I respect the institution so much going on around here. Continue to do the work of the people. You are here for that reason. The administration is here for that reason. It was weaponized and politicized, the FBI, in the past. Hope to God we never, ever see that again. One of the darkest parts of American history. Thank you, Mr. I yield back.
Mr. Chairman, I have a unanimous consent.
Gentleman yields back. The gentleman from New York is recognized for UC.
I would like to introduce a CNN article that explains how an alleged top leader of the MS-13 gang was dismissed. His case was dismissed in Brooklyn so that he could be deported back to El Salvador, even though he was charged with murder.
Objection.
Mr. Chairman, I have some unanimous consent.
The lady from
requests.
Washington is recognized.
I ask unanimous consent to enter into the record an article titled "Justice Department Told Trump in May that his name is among many in the Epstein files."
Objection.
I have another one that is a July 2025 article by the New York Times entitled "How a Frantic Scouring of the Epstein Files Consumed the Justice Department," stating that DOJ and FBI employees reviewing the Epstein files were instructed to flag any mentions of Trump and other celebrities.
Objection.
And I have another unanimous consent request to enter into the record an August 2025 article by The Guardian entitled "Ghislaine Maxwell Hinted at Epstein's Ties to Trump Officials. Why Wasn't She Pressed for Names?" stating that Maxwell told Deputy U.S. Attorney Todd Blanche that some of the, quote, cast of characters around Epstein are in Trump's cabinet.
Without objection.
Oh, geez.
Now recognize the gentlelady from Pennsylvania.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Mr. Patel, for coming before us to testify today. I am concerned by your repeated claims that you're not able to disclose anything further about the Epstein investigation and files, and that there's no evidence of a broader conspiracy or other people who should be charged, because the American people aren't buying that you've been transparent or that there's nothing further to be seen. In your exchange with my colleague, Mr. Roy, you reiterated something that I heard you say yesterday in your Senate testimony, and that is, under your direction, the FBI will always follow the money. Is that right?
The money, did you say? Yes.
Yes, you said you'll follow the money. That's great. And just now you said you welcome the opportunity to investigate new evidence. So there has been significant recent reporting just in the last couple of weeks that after Jeffrey Epstein was arrested, 4 major banks flagged more than $1.5 billion in suspicious transactions connected to him that suggested a massive conspiracy related to his child sex trafficking activities. Director Patel, has the FBI reviewed the $1.5 billion in suspicious bank transactions flagged to the government relating to Epstein and his co-conspirators?
I know the FBI has reviewed numerous SARs. I don't know the totality of that number.
Okay. Can you provide us with that number?
I'll get back to you.
Okay. And have you initiated any new investigation of those bank transactions since, say, September 8th, when the new reporting came out?
I'll check with the Treasury Department because they're the lead on that.
Okay. So, Director Patel, how many individuals or entities has the FBI interviewed, subpoenaed, or compelled to testify? Can you give us those numbers with respect to these bank transactions?
Not off the top of my head. I'll have to work with Treasury.
Okay. We're concerned, you see, because you say you're going after child predators, but obviously this is how you follow the money, is if you follow the bank transactions that apparently enabled the child sex trafficking. Would you agree?
It's one of the valuable investigative tools is to follow the money.
Okay. Have Jeffrey Epstein's victims have asked us to ask you whether or not you've investigated Epstein's lawyers, the lawyers who facilitated those payments. Have you
She's onto something here, guys, believe it or not.
Those lawyers.
So in 2018 and 19, what I recollect is many, if not every one of those lawyers was part of the investigation.
But you weren't there at that time,
I wasn't
right?
there.
Okay. So can you get us the names and the numbers of who was investigated then with respect to those lawyers?
As long as I'm allowed to release it, absolutely.
Okay. Well, if we provide you with subpoenas, I assume you can release it. Is that right?
We have a current subpoena and we're working with Congress to provide it.
You've said that the Acosta investigation had an original sin. What do you mean by that?
Basically, if you're looking at...
Yes, she is a Democrat. And you know what? I'm going to just pull this up right now because this is one of the lawyers. Okay, she was talking about the lawyers. This is Bradley J. Edwards, the book from Bradley J. Edwards. This Epstein girl thing is a part of a Rothstein Ponzi scheme, okay? Right here. Just when I thought I had heard it all, I learned that the cases I was litigating against Jeffrey Epstein had been used in the final chapter of Scott's Ponzi scheme just before its implosion. The premise of the scheme was to tell investors that he represented victims of sexual abuse or sexual harassment who have received large settlements that would be paid out to the victims over a period of time. For a significant payment, the investor could acquire the rights to the long-term payouts of the settlement. For example, Scott Rothstein would tell an investor that an abuse victim received the settlement that would pay her $20 million over the next 10 years. But she would prefer to receive a one-time lump sum of $5 million payment immediately. The investor would then pay the $5 million and acquire the rights to the $20 million over time. What the investors didn't know is that these were not real cases or settlements at all. Instead, they were just made-up stories living in Scott Rothstein's mind. Wow. You see? You see what we're getting at, guys? If you follow the money, you're going to find that it might be a Ponzi scheme. Also, Shady Grove, the reason I got to that, and I'm just going to show you how I decoded it, it's right here. This is, excuse me, let me grab the actual Q post right here. All right. This is the Q post right here, okay? This is a Q post 526, Ponzi scheme. Whoa, where have we heard that? Where have we heard Ponzi scheme before? Oh, Q talked about it. Did I just show you a Scott Rothstein's Ponzi scheme? Yep. Here's a Ponzi scheme. Who's Mezvinsky? Born in Philadelphia. Oh, that's Chelsea's husband. Chelsea Clinton, who embezzled $10 million from people via Ponzi schemes and advance fee scams. What was I just talking about? An advance fee scam? Follow him and the family down the hole to find more truth. Okay, this could be the key to the actual Ponzi scheme that Epstein and Rothstein, and by the way, guess who was in Rothstein's lawyer's office and had an office? Roger Stone. Oh, imagine that. Okay,
Yeah,
the guardians of the pedophile, Shady Groove.
The same guy that said General Flynn had the pedophile list, right? Wasn't that the guy that said, yeah. Isn't that interesting? I find a lot of this stuff very compelling. I find a lot of the, also there's no real evidence of Bill Clinton being involved in this stuff. As a matter of fact, that's what some people are trying. So think about that. Think about the operation to generate a conspiracy, to generate a Ponzi scheme, to generate a massive payout for who? Oh, wow. Boy, it starts to look a whole lot. Man, this whole thing is looking different now.
Yeah. And by the way, Red Pill Pusher, I see what you're saying. Two different things could be true. Get me the victims. Get me the victims that are willing to say that they were trafficked. If we don't have that, you're done. It's done. It's done. No case.
We got no case.
Nobody.
We don't have a victim.
And I'm sorry. I want it done too. But if there is no... So look, here's Mark Mavinsky. There he is. Okay? Born in Philadelphia. Who's the wife? Oh, Chelsea Clinton. Do you think these people are continuing on their Ponzi scheme that they did with Jeffrey Epstein?
If the victims are dead, then we're definitely not going to be prosecuting anybody.
If there are dead victims, exactly. So who is this Rothstein? I mean, do you guys really want to get deeper in this, or do you want me to continue with Cash?
I want you to continue with Cash right now.
Because, you know, I've got a pretty good case here, better than one saying that, oh, why did Q do this? Because he wanted you to show you that it's a Ponzi scheme, that it was an actual, you know, maybe the victims are dead. Okay, but we still don't have a case. Maybe.
Go back and read the post. You'll see that they're saying something. They're saying it looks like It looks like the posts are saying something else. It looks like they're saying something different. And now we can see that what happened was that the same thing with General Flynn. All of these Pizzagate people, all of these before Q people came to the conversation and started weaving in their predetermined narratives within the things that Q was saying. So we're currently working in a future proves past, news unlocks the map scenario. Right now, I feel like that the news that Jeffrey Epstein, that there was no evidence that he was actually acquiring minors to pimp them out to politicians. Okay, that's what everybody has been claiming. All of these people up here keep claiming, all the people on your side keep claiming that Cash Patel and Dan Bongino, before they were members of the FBI, claimed that that was going on. Now they're saying that they're seeing something that's showing them evidence that that is not what was going on. Now, you can pretend like they're lying to you, or you can say that they're lying to you if you want to. But from what we can see, this looks like they're trying to tell us that this might have been something much bigger.
Yeah. And, you know, just so you know, in the Black's Law Dictionary, a pedophile is somebody that engages with sex with a girl 13 or younger.
Correct.
Do you know Jeffrey Epstein didn't have any 13 or younger girls? They were mostly correct. 17, 18, 19, 20s.
Yes.
Not saying that I agree with any of that, but if you look at the Black's Law Dictionary of what a pedophile is.
Post-puberty females is...
Yeah.
So,
or males or whatever. Yeah. It's disgusting. Guys, this is a disgusting topic. I hate it. But I don't have the proof, nor do you. You just have your theories, and that's fine. I'm good with that, okay? So don't take it as like, you know, anything wrong. I just need the proof. My anon brain doesn't work anymore with theories. Okay, like you know, we were hijacked, bro, and broettes. We were hijacked, guys, and all of our minds are melded. Q said there's something nefarious going on there. Yes, satanic worship. Okay, and the temple. What does the temple represent? It's satanic. These people are satanic.
They are not necessarily any known religion other than that.
Yeah.
And they're hiding in every one of them, and they are wielding power from each of them, and they have control over the levers of society as a whole. We're not denying that.
Yeah. And effectual insurrection, IMO, anyone under 18, I agree with you wholeheartedly, but that's not the law.
Correct.
All right, here we go.
As a matter of fact, there's a number of states in America where you can marry a 14-year-old.
What you should not do.
All right, back to Cash.
Time frame in which you're legally able to collect information.
These are tough conversations, guys, and I'm glad we're having them.
We love you.
Thank you. I love you guys too. You too, Red Pill Pusher. Don't get mad. I'm just trying to find the evidence, okay? Love you guys. And I just showed you something pretty huge. See ya.
Search warrants that Mr. Acosta utilized in 2006 and 7 leading to the 2008 plea agreement had a very specific narrow window of years, I think 3 or 4 years. And so information pursuant to legal process wasn't collected for 10 years or 15 years or 20 years. It also, subpoenas were not sent out to hundreds of witnesses at the time, hundreds of victims at the time. None of that was done. None of these people were put in grand juries. And so the totality of information from the jump, instead of being this big, was like this. That, in my opinion, is not how you run an investigation if you're trying to break a sex trafficking ring.
So you're now in charge of the FBI. Why haven't you done that investigation?
Great question. And here's the answer. Simply because I am not able to go back 20 years and collect information that the courts had decided was already subject to search warrants. They have said this was in the investigation. There's a non-prosecution agreement out of that plea. And when the case was reopened, and this is where it comes into play, when the case was reopened in 2018 and 2019, the search warrants, again, were limited to the conduct of Jeffrey Epstein. Now, whether that's right or wrong, that's a different discussion, but I'm telling you that's the information
well,
we
I think
reviewed.
that is a different discussion, and I think the discussion we'd like to have today is why you aren't following the money with respect to the broader conspiracy that it has been reported in the New York Times and elsewhere, and that if you really want to attack the issue, if you wanted to attack the issue, if you wanted to get to the bottom of it, if you wanted to disclose what really was involved in the Epstein files, the Epstein cover-up, that you would be taking very different actions that you are today. I do want to seek unanimous consent to enter into the record the New York Times September 8th, 2025 article, How J.P. Morgan Enabled the Crimes of Jeffrey Epstein.
Objection.
and also an article dated July 17th, 2025, in the Epstein case, Follow the Money.
Objection.
Okay, thank you.
Gentlelady yields back.
Mr. Chairman.
Gentleman from Maryland is recognized.
Thank you much. Pursuant to Clause 2K6 of Rule 11, I move that the committee subpoena the CEOs of 4 banks, JP Morgan, that's Jamie Dimon, Bank of New York Mellon, Robin Vince, Bank of America, Brian Moynihan, and Deutsche Bank, Christian Sewing, in order to get the suspicious transaction reports. These 4 banks have flagged to the government $1.5 billion in suspicious transactions related to the sex trafficking crimes and conspiracy of Epstein, Maxwell, and all of their collaborators. And as you know, Mr. Chairman, we got the SARS reports for Hunter Biden totaling around $20 million. And so these $1.5 billion in SARS reports we should get, especially since the director doesn't seem to be forthcoming. And I request that we do this immediately.
I think the director's been very forthcoming. We will hold any motion to subpoena in abeyance until the conclusion of the hearing. The chair now recognizes the gentleman from Texas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Director Patel, for being here. It is quite clear that certain members of this committee, they want their 15 seconds on TV, stamping and coming. Maybe it's for fundraising. Maybe they're struggling in their district. They need a little bump. But they turn a committee into a clown show, and that's what we're seeing. You're being unjustly attacked today. I watched the Senate hearings yesterday. You were attacked there. We know there's an agenda. There's always an agenda. It's the same characters with the same personalities, the same objective, and that is destroy the mega movement. You're being attacked, Director, is because you're effective. You highlighted what you've been doing in D.C. with the president and reducing violent crime. You're very effective. Another individual that was very effective with meaningful debate and dialogue was Charlie Kirk. And they killed him for it. Charlie Kirk was a man of faith. First and foremost, he loved his Lord Jesus. He loved his family. Beautiful wife, beautiful children. Just a remarkable, honorable man that was silenced with this assassin's bullet. I would say if Charlie Kirk lived in the biblical times, he'd have been the 13th disciple. He'd have been the 13th disciple. We have a new committee, if you're not aware, a new select committee regarding January 6th. I'm honored to be on that committee. I'm looking forward to working with other members to expose truth, questioning federal agencies that were involved on January 6th, like the FBI, played a role. But we don't really know, Director, to what extent. We don't know. The January 6th sham committee was not formed by Nancy Pelosi to seek truth. It was nothing about getting to the truth about January 6th. Their sole mission was to damage Donald J. Trump and end his political career. And everybody knows it.
And that's what they're trying to do right now with this BS.
That's exactly right.
That's what the purpose was. You know what's nice, so I kind of get to ask the question, though, how did that work out for you? Donald J. Trump is back in the White House, and America loves him. I spent 30 years in law enforcement, retired sheriff from a large county in the great state of Texas. I have seen, Director, I've seen more enthusiasm and support for law enforcement today because of what you and Donald Trump have done over the last 8 months to protect the American people. The American people couldn't count on their government to protect them. Crime is rampant. And now we have a president and an administration that puts the American people and their safety first. It's interesting, a few minutes ago, a classmate reached out to me and sent me I told him, I said, yes, we got Director Patel in front of our committee today. And Andy Kane wanted me to tell you, he said, quote, tell him we love him. Tell him we love him and all the brave warriors exposing the deep state.
Hear, hear.
Yes,
God
you're a great
bless you,
American.
Kash Patel.
You're a great American. Your
Boom.
work as the director of the FBI is commendable. It's commendable. And I want to thank you, sir. Thank you for your service. Keep up the good fight, brother. Don't let them tear you down. Keep up that good fight. You have it in you. With that, sir, I yield back.
Thank you so much for seeing it. Wow.
Don't yield to me.
That's amazing.
Director Patel, there were 26, the gentleman mentioned the select committee, there were 26 confidential human sources at the Capitol on January 6, 2021. 4 entered the Capitol and thereby broke the law. Do you know if those individuals were being paid by the Ray FBI?
So we've provided 600 pages of documents to this committee alone regarding January 6th. That's 600 pages more than any of my predecessors.
Yep.
Generally speaking, confidential human sources are always paid by the FBI. That's how it works. I can't speak to the specifics on each one and how much they make.
And we appreciate it. We've reviewed some of that material, and you've given us a lot of material that we didn't get from Director Ray. That specific question, I think, is important to the American people. Were people who were confidential human sources of the FBI who broke the law, one was recommended for prosecution, my understanding is, by the information we've received from you. Were they actually paid by the very taxpayers who may have got charged with the same offense? I think that's important for us to understand.
I'll get back to you on that.
Thank you. Chair now recognizes the gentleman from California.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Welcome, Director Patel. I want to focus a little bit on domestic terrorism. We have a graph here, data up to 2021, but as you can tell, domestic terrorism is on the rise. Nation, our citizens under threat. We saw the assassination of Charlie Kirk, 2 assassination attempts on the president, school shooting, Minnesota last month, and closer to home, just a couple of days ago, Huntington Beach, peaceful vigil for Charlie Kirk, infiltrated by neo-Nazis who essentially made the local individuals attending that event fear for their safety. All of us know that a lot of these domestic attacks are by lone wolves, but yet they do leave clues, social media or elsewhere. Director Patel, you're it. You're the thin blue line. The FBI, your job to protect our citizens back home from those that would harm us. You have to find the needle in the haystack. It takes a lot of work, a lot of resources. Talking to my local sheriff this morning, who said they're concerned. Federal cuts to local grants that help them do the job. And of course, let's not forget about other threats that are coming before us, like high-tech fraud. Local senior recently was talking to me about a text she had gotten, a demand by the IRS to send a payment immediately, or the IRS agents were on their way to arrest this individual. Pretty gutsy stuff by folks probably from Europe, North Korea, Russia, China, people, okay, going after those precious savings our senior citizens rely on. Yet the president's proposing a budget cut of $500 million or more to your organization, the FBI. You've said that that'll essentially equate to about 1,300 less jobs at the FBI. So I'm going to ask you essentially, what is it that we can do to help you do your job? Little concerned. Friday Night Lights. One of the events I love to do on Friday nights, go to the local high school football game. Sit there at the stadium and you always say, what if? What if? You're the thin blue line. Can you do your job cutting $500 million from your budget?
Thank you, sir. I think we are doing our job, and the distinction is with the budget that we have, we are flexing more resources to the field. California is receiving the largest FBI plus-up of any state in the union due to that plus-up. They're not getting a reduction. No state is getting a reduction. Every state is getting a plus-up. So I'm utilizing the money that we have to first plus it up. And the empty vacancies that we have, those haven't been filled in years, under my leadership.
Here's my concern. You're going to do well. You're doing more with less, is what you're saying. Yet we're about to vote on a budget that has $88 million more to protect members of Congress, the executive branch, the Supreme Court. There's a contradiction here. Back on Main Street, we're saying you can do more with less, you can protect them with less money. Yet here in Washington, we're saying we need more money to protect members of Congress. It's a little contradiction here. Or maybe, sir, you ought to talk to leadership about coming in with your management style to protect the Supreme Court, Congress, and the administration. Otherwise, it's essentially a hypocritical situation. We need more protection, yet folks on Main Street can do with less.
My concern is folks on Main Street. We also were, I think we received over 300 million in the big beautiful bill, and we're also receiving pots of money from our interagency. So this sort of 500 million cut isn't entirely accurate.
You're still getting cut 200 million plus. You're still moving your agents to do ICE work. So you are leaving a lot of bases uncovered. And I'm not going to be argumentative with you, Director Patel. I'm just saying, if that thin blue line does not hold, people on Main Street will pay the price.
I agree with you, sir.
And I just look forward to working with you because I am very concerned that these kinds of budget cuts are short-sighted, especially when my local sheriff calls me and says, we need more support, and we're looking at budget cuts.
I'll work with you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I yield time.
Mr. Chairman, I have another unanimous consent request.
The gentleman yields back. The gentleman from New York is recognized for unanimous consent.
I seek to introduce a December 2024 OIG report from the Department of Justice, which confirms the conclusion of the Bill Barr Justice Department that the so-called whistleblower, a disgruntled former employee of the Intelligence Committee, was not a credible witness and there were no further actions taken.
Without objection.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to submit some items for the record.
You bet. Gentleman from California.
First one, Trump's deportation diverts FBI agents off child predator cases. Second one, FBI director backtracks on administration's proposed budget cuts. And number three, Trump administration says 70% of ICE detainees do not have criminal convictions.
Without objection. Gentleman from Texas is recognized.
Thank you. Director, earlier this year, the committee learned of new documents tied to the Crossfire Hurricane investigation and the Russia collusion hoax against President Trump. Your efforts in declassifying key documents tied to this investigation allowed the committee to acquire thousands of pages that it did not have previously. Did any of your predecessors make any effort to declassify these documents?
Not to the extent we have.
Did any of your predecessors share or leak any details that were classified at the time?
There are ongoing leak investigations across the board at the Bureau related to this.
I believe one of those is Mr. Comey, and I thank you for continuing that investigation. Among the declassified documents are the Durham Report Annex, the Crossfire Binder, and the Nellie Orr Criminal Referral. Could you summarize?
This is what Q was about, guys, okay? What you're hearing right here, all those names are in the Q drops, okay? These are what we should be focusing on. Here we go.
For those watching, that what we know about the Russia collusion hoax so far?
Well, sir, I think the record will speak that the Russia collusion matter was perpetrated by a political party to go overseas and obtain information from a foreign intelligence asset only to have that
Five Eyes. Remember all this, guys? Remember all this? This is the Q posts.
Information, which was demonstrably false, turned over to the FBI, who walked into a federal FISA secret court and asked for a secret surveillance court order and lied to the federal court, and we know that because someone was convicted of it, and only to surveil the political opponent. So that is a massive scandal. We helped expose it. And in terms of the pages of productions, I provided 1,400 pages of production related to Crossfire Hurricane, and my predecessors have provided 0.
I appreciate that, and I appreciate your courage and commitment to declassifying these important documents for our review, and hope that you'll continue with this commitment. Can we expect to see more declassification efforts regarding the Crossfire Hurricane and Russia collusion hoax?
Yes.
Thank you. I yield the remaining balance of my time to Chairman Jordan.
I thank the gentleman for yielding. And Director, that's when it all started, right? The whole Russia, that's when It all began, and then it was Mueller, then it was impeachment, then it was Jack Smith and Fonnie Willis and Alvin Bragg and you name it. But it all started then, and that's why I think the gentleman from Texas wants to make sure we get all the information there. And I want to go back to when it was changed. We talked about this earlier. I just want to read to you what the CIA officer said to the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence. Quote, Brennan refused to remove the dossier, and when confronted with the dossier's main flaws, he responded, yes, but doesn't it ring true? That's what he initially said. And then when he was talking to this committee, he said the CIA was very much opposed to having any reference or inclusion of the Steele dossier in the intelligence community assessment. So on one hand, you got a witness who was there who said he refused to remove it even though he knew it was garbage. And then he's on the other hand telling the committee, no, we didn't want anything to do with it. It shouldn't have been a part of the intelligence community assessment, which we know it was. You know it was. You found that. Those are two entirely different stories. I think Mr. Brennan has some explaining to do, frankly, what happened there. And I think you said earlier that this whole thing, and I think you said to Mr. Gooden, this whole thing is being looked at as part of this grand conspiracy to undermine the president, whether it's Comey, Brennan, Clapper, former head of the Intelligence Committee, now senator from, whoever it is, that's all being looked at. Is that accurate?
Yes, sir.
We appreciate that. And part of what's also being looked at, and I think the gentleman from Wisconsin brought this up earlier, what is a burn bag for, by the way?
Generally speaking, the intelligence community obviously utilizes and possesses classified documents, but drafts of those classified documents and even ultimate finished products of those classified documents have to be recorded and or discarded. And if they are discarded, the only way we do that, the hard copies, is we literally put them in burn bags that are identified specifically for that purpose. And there is a very exact courier system in which those burn bags are obtained and the material inside is destroyed.
So it's to get rid of the material, right?
Yes, sir.
And it looks like the annex that Mr. Durham in his investigation had was put into a burn bag by your predecessor, I assume, to be destroyed. Is that accurate?
Without getting into the stylization of the evidence, anything that's put in a burn bag is for purposes of destruction.
You find that interesting that the Durham annex was placed in a burn bag, that you would discover that when you took over as the head of the FBI?
We found a lot of information in a lot of burn bags.
Well, we appreciate you finding that. We'd like to know a little bit more about that, and we look forward to that information coming forward. And I appreciate the gentleman yielding. With that, we now recognize the gentleman from Colorado.
Oh, God.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for holding this hearing. Thank you, Director Patel, for being here today. I have a couple of questions regarding a terrible shooting that occurred in Colorado, a state, as you may know, that I represent. You've testified previously about, I think, what you would describe as your efforts to provide more information regarding the investigation with respect to the horrific assassination of Mr. Kirk. And so, in that same vein, I'm hoping you can provide this committee and my constituents in Colorado with some clarity.
Absolutely.
I think, as my colleagues know, in Evergreen, Colorado, Jefferson County, a county that I proudly represent, at Evergreen High School, a shooter ultimately injured. 2 students were praying for their swift recovery. There's an article here from Colorado Public Radio. The title is, quote, FBI was already investigating an account that may have been linked to the Evergreen shooter. You're familiar with the circumstances generally, Director, regarding this terrible tragedy.
Yes.
So my understanding from the public reporting is that an organization reported to the FBI in July of this year regarding, just reading here from the article, the FBI opened an assessment into a social media account user whose identity was unknown and who was discussing the planning of a mass shooting with threats nonspecific in nature. This is the FBI's statement to the press. And that the FBI continued to work this assessment investigation to identify the name and location of the user up until September 10th, 2025, which was the day of the tragedy. Can you provide us some clarity on what were the impediments to finding, the account user, and maybe describe in greater detail the FBI's work in that regard?
Generally speaking, yes, because I know even though the shooter's deceased, the investigation we're not done.
Sure.
And so the impediments to finding these individuals, and you highlight a great point. We had 2 huge tragedies in the span of days in this country. The school shooting in Evergreen, Colorado being one of them. And proactively going out onto these social media platforms, which are so large, is our biggest impediment. And we need to rely on the service providers. There's actual legislation, I can't remember the name of it, that's up for renewal, which will, and I think at the end of the month, which gives service providers the ability to report that information in from their end without liability. We need that to continue, because while the FBI has so many people and the police are great at doing it, there's just too many platforms to cover down on.
Well, I appreciate that, Director Patel, and I think we're certainly, I'm interested in continuing this conversation, because I think the reporting suggests that there's a pattern, and that ultimately, we want to make sure that law enforcement is able to prevent this kind of tragedy from happening in the future. I have a question. It's not meant as a gotcha question, so it just frame it there. But it is in regards to some reporting around a periodic transaction report that you had filed earlier, this year. So this is in July, pursuant to the ethical obligations as a senior executive official. You remember filing that in July?
Yes.
Yeah, so in that report, as best as I can surmise, you disclosed that you divested $100,000 or more in a variety of different stocks, which I presume was pursuant to the ethics agreement that you negotiated with the Department of Justice. In that same report, there's a disclosure regarding purchases of two different transactions. So between $15,000 to $50,000 in a national coffee house chain, and between $50,000 to $100,000 in a semiconductor company on May 9th and May 12th. Are those transactions that you're doing personally, or are these through a stockbroker, or are these transactions that you're handling yourself?
So how they happen is I submit proposals under DOJ guidance to say, hey, I would like to trade this or that. They run their review, and the FBI runs a review, and then they come back and say yes or no, and then I make the transaction.
Is there a reason that you decided to make the purchases into those two companies?
Generally speaking, before I got this job, I was, trading stocks, but not a lot like most people, and I just follow certain industries, and I thought that would be a good investment.
So the reason why I ask, right, because you had divested in other companies, and I presume that wasn't because there were actual conflicts. It's just that you wanted to avoid an appearance of impropriety.
It was both.
Both, but not all of the companies were conflicts.
Whatever they make
divested from.
I don't make the call, they make the call.
Sure. Yeah. I guess my point would be, the reason why I ask is, why I said it's not a gotcha question, I have for years led an effort here in Congress to try to ban members of Congress, senior executive officials, from trading stocks.
You mean like Nancy Pelosi?
We're working really hard to get that done, Republicans and Democrats. And you can understand, I think, given your role, given the nature of the position that you hold as the leader of the largest law enforcement agency in our country, that divesting entirely, not doing day trading now, I think would be something that would be in the interest of the American people. So I just would hope you would consider that, and that moving forward, that perhaps not purchasing stocks in individual companies, I would think would be something that would be worth pursuing.
Gentleman's time is...
I'm happy to give the witness an opportunity to...
Sure. No, thank you. I'll work with you on it.
Gentleman from Alabama is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Director Patel, for being here today. Newly declassified documents confirm that the intelligence community under President Barack Obama knowingly relied on unverified and fraudulent evidence to manufacture a false claim that Russia, in fact, meddled in the 2016 election. Is there more to be done to uncover the depths and origins of the Russian collusion hoax?
There is, and we're doing it.
Why should Americans still care about that, Director Patel?
Everybody wants to talk about a weaponized bureaucracy. When we put out the facts about a weaponized bureaucracy, not because I said so, but because we found the FISA documents, because we found the 302s and the 1023s, then it becomes a political football. My job is to continue to put out that information and let the American public read it for themselves when I'm lawfully able to do so. And that's been my commitment on any subject, Russiagate or otherwise. Wherever the law allows me to do it, I will do it.
When I first came in 2020, the number one concern as I was doing town halls was the weaponization of the government against the American citizen. And so are there things that you're doing, structural reforms that implementing so that the FBI cannot be weaponized again, whether it's against President Trump or future elected presidents?
It shouldn't be weaponized against anyone. And the structural reform is simple. If you're going to go after a political individual or someone seeking political office, There has to be a grounded basis in law and fact to open up a criminal investigation. And if there's not, the investigation isn't even opened. And I've also gone back and reviewed other cases that were opened in prior administrations related to public officials. And we've closed a number of them because we felt that some of these actions were weaponized on either side of the aisle. I felt it wholly inappropriate for the FBI to be playing umpire and referee amongst these decision makers when there was no factual or legal basis to continue those investigations. So I shut them down.
And I think that's so desperately needed because we need to restore trust in law enforcement, and certainly in the DOJ and the FBI. So,
I just wanted to talk to that real quick. I think that this is very interesting because I'm kind of seeing a little bit different of a dynamic now. Like the idea that what he was just speaking about right there of closing down investigations or investigations that are opening. He just said investigations that have been opened into both sides of the aisle. So effectively, what you can see here is a J. Edgar Hoover type FBI, right? If you've read any of the books or if you know anything about what happened with J. Edgar Hoover and what he was doing with the FBI and how he was manipulating people and how he was manipulating Congress and how he was going after specific people that were elected to office, as well as presidents and whatnot that he was doing, or people that were associated with presidents, all these different tactics that were being used. Well, you can see right there with what he's implying is that those tactics were being used by the FBI to quote unquote handle different politicians. In other words, you go in and you open up an investigation and then you leak to the news that the investigation against so-and-so has been opened or is ongoing or different things that are going on in the news. And all of a sudden then we find these little crumbs in the news. And then the next thing you know, the FBI's information backs up what was in the news first, when in all reality, it was the FBI's blackmail operations. I think this is some of the most unbelievable, what we heard yesterday and today from Kash Patel is some of the most unbelievable insight into what is really going on in our government than we've ever seen. And whenever I started this, my statement was, you cannot have real freedom without truth and transparency in government. And I am very encouraged that I'm currently seeing a pattern of truth and transparency in government, because at the core of it, the FBI is is a central figure in that statement.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Shady. Hey, real quick, we got a new one here. I don't even know what it is, but let's check it out. Looks like it's a movie. Ever wonder what would really happen if a teenager found a wounded alien in the desert and didn't call the government? It's the new sci-fi thriller Xeno, and that's exactly what happens. Renee, a girl who always felt invisible, discovers a creature that sees her for who she really is. But the moment she decides to hide it, in the black vans roll in, secret agencies, strange signals, and disappearances. Xeno isn't just a movie, it's the kind of a story conspiracy theorists like us recognize all too well. It's got Stranger Things energy, real emotion, and a heavy dose of they don't want you to know this vibes. Xeno hits theaters this Friday, September 19th. Find your local show times at xenomovie.com.
Oh, wow. We did a movie promo.
Yeah.
That's cool. Wow. That's awesome.
But Salty Nutsack says he's already xenophobic.
Oh, no. It's already started. The conspiracies can't stop.
OMG.
Wow. You can't have OMG without MG.
No, you can't. Okay, so, we've been going on with this. It's pretty interesting. In my opinion, the Epstein garbage was just that garbage because the Democrats are reeing all about it. But then the meat came in, which is the Russia, Crossfire Hurricane, Crossfire Razor. Did Flynn knowingly get duped, or did he knowingly knowingly do it? I think it's anyways, interesting stuff. And that burn bags, and that's exactly what Q was about, guys. Q, was the spy outpost. It tells us who did it from bottom to top. We have proof on this. We don't have theories. This is proof. And Kash Patel has the proof. Proof has a victim. The victim is Donald J. Trump. The victim is essentially all of MAGA.
All of us.
Now we've got, Charlie Kirk, with Operation Arctic Frost, right? They're doing organizations, going after organizations, weaponized government. It needs to stop. It needs to stop, Shady.
I think that I'm personally very encouraged that it is going to stop. I'm not going to sit here and say that, I want Kash Patel to like do to the Democrats what the Democrats were doing to us. Okay,
Yeah.
That's what you're getting from a lot of these people, by the way, is like this whole idea of like, oh, well, they did it. So we're gonna, that's the Bannon Flynn crew, right? So they're all, by the way, they're now backing up this Jackson Hinkle guy. So all of these different little operators, it's just very interesting how that they're all coming together in this solidarity or this. I think it's a blue wall. I mean, like, look at, they're all Democrats.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care which side they say they're on.
Yeah. As Susie says, that movie is demonic. Don't watch it. We're just getting paid to advertise. We don't get enough. Go ahead and support the show if you want. Rumble Rants. I'll read less commercials. That's all we need. We need your help because we're struggling. And if we get a commercial that's decently paying us, we are going to read it. And, you can choose to watch it or not. God bless you all. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, you guys really need to understand that, we're being paid to do this. We don't want to. We'd rather be fully funded by you, but it's not working out that way, sadly.
And that's as a matter of fact, it's a great thing that Rumble has offered this to us so that we can not screaming, yell, and beg all the time.
Yeah. Please.
Pretty please.
Pretty please.
Cherry on top.
I know, right? Flynn was a Dem till 2021 or 2022.
He's still a Dem.
He's still a Dem. All right. So, we did a little bit of that. Let's look at a little bit of good news right now. What happened to MyPillow? We just don't run the commercial anymore.
It's almost Christmas. We're getting ready to bring it back. Settle down.
Yeah. MyPillow.com. Use code MGShow 800-873-0478.
Boom.
800-873-0478.
Without a Yeti prompt, nothing on the screen. Boom. So
Land of Voices, $20 not to watch a dynamic movie. Guard your heart. God bless you. Thank you so much. And yes,
I love you guys.
The heart is guarded. Thank you so much. We really, we do a lot too in this show. I just want to go ahead and real quick. This is breaking news. Just before the show at 11:52 Eastern. A bomb squad was rushed to Turning Point USA's Phoenix headquarters as city prepares to host Charlie Kirk's funeral. This is not a game, guys. This is not a game. And also, I wanted to point out that douchebag from New Jersey, what's his name, Shady Groove? Spartacus, what's his name?
Booker.
When Booker was yelling at Kash Patel saying, "I'm not afraid of you," that is carrying on the same stochastic message, guys. He is terrorizing you. I'm not afraid of you. How disrespectful is that to the FBI, the director of the FBI? Just because Spartacus doesn't like what he hears, it doesn't mean you have to threaten the FBI agent. Okay, director.
Well, now, don't you think that it's interesting that they are so afraid of him? Because effectively, isn't that the psychological aspect? Psychologically, that's what he's doing. He's so afraid of him, he threatens him.
Yeah.
See. That means that essentially is quote unquote panic.
Is that Spartacus? I'm sorry, I said his name wrong.
Spartacus. Oh Lord, that's
Timu.
Now you're blending Swalwell and Booker.
Timu Obama.
No, that's Jeffries. Oh my God! Now we have a smorgasbord of morons.
Smorgasbord. All right, so we want to watch live. I don't know who sent. You didn't give me the timestamp here.
6:26.
6:26. Let's watch this a little bit because this is from yesterday.
You're talking about Tillis, right?
Oh wait, this one's live.
Of our children and infecting them with radicalization.
Oh,
wait a
you
second.
were talking about Tillis from yesterday.
Yeah, I was.
It was
6:26.
6:20. It would be the timestamp on that.
6
or 6:20 to go. Something.
6.
Now I'm lost.
Yeah, it went all the way to the end. I guess
She said, "Yes, I did." Whatever that means.
It means that she said she left the timestamp, but I'm going to go into Discord and look because it says YouTube live. Wait, am I at the wrong one? Here it is.
Live.
Wait. I don't see it. Here it is. Wait. No, that's what Yeti. Where did you send it?
Technical difficulties. 6:20 at end. She says.
At end.
So 6 minutes and 20 seconds from the end.
Under your leadership, would you please respond to these questions and can?
All right. So what is that? I mean, here we are.
With one of their own colleagues.
Is that this?
Schools or on our
I
streets.
mean, there's minus 22, minus 1052 right here. Toussaint?
When you look at the
It should be Tillis. You're talking about.
I understand. I understand. I'm trying to find out.
state legislature
We have a former president of the United States that opens up his campaign in 2019. That's Joe Biden.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where she sent it. Where did she send it?
I thought that she put it right there in front of us this morning.
I know. No, she said. Thanks.
No.
No. No. Telegram. Oh boy, I tell you.
Boy.
Because we want to set it up, Shady, while I grab it for
What
everybody.
we're trying to do is we're trying to like put the information in 4 different places at the same time so that we can get it to you very quickly.
See, that's what happens when I take the morning off.
I know. Well, you did. This was a wonderful morning, and I'm maybe a little bit to blame for slacking off on this. But what we are getting ready for you to view will be the ending of the hearing yesterday with Tom Tillis, who had some very interesting remarks about all of the nonsense on the internet.
Yes. Okay.
That's
7.
See,
all right,
now,
here. I think I got it.
Look at this, guys. We threaded the needle.
Right. There seems to be a disproportionate number of voices on the left that are celebrating the assassination of a CEO or celebrating the assassination of someone in Mr. Kirk's case that I disagreed with probably about half of his positions. But I felt like he was a good voice and engaging young people, and that's a start as long as we can do it civilly. And then I also just went back online because I've hammered on this committee multiple times. I just went online and I found in Pinterest that even today you could order a T-shirt that says ACAB 13.12, which translates to all cops are bastards. Or if you don't like that shirt, you can go get an F the Cop shirt at the same website on a location on Pinterest. There is clearly a problem with some of the voices of the left, and I'm not necessarily saying any members of Congress that need to tamp it down. Having said that, within 24 hours of Mr. Kirk's shooting, we had the guy that does the podcast for the War Room and another guy who's denied the Sandy Hook shootings say we're at war. Now, how on earth?
So, who's the guy that denied the Sandy Hook shootings, guys?
Alex Jones.
I'm going to eat your neighbor. Right? That was Alex Jones. Who's the guy that does the War Room podcast?
Bannon.
Okay, so just so we know.
And I do believe it's a smaller number, but it's a number that has an influence. How on earth are we de-escalating the situation with the tensions as high as they were last week with going out and saying, we're at war? I'm not asking you to respond to this question. I'm just saying that there are people out here on our side of the aisle that still need to look in the mirror. Even if you agree that it's a lower number, bad is bad no matter how many numbers they are. And that kind of rhetoric and that kind of mobilization makes your job more difficult and puts us in a position where we're not being as productive as you want the FBI and state and local law enforcement to be. I'm finished. I just want to thank you for your service. I want to thank you for your concise answers. And I am thoroughly impressed with the fact that you have sat in that chair for over 4 hours without a break. So with that, we're, on behalf of the chair, want to thank you for being here today. And also, I assume, are we leaving the record open for any period of time for 1 week? The record will be open, left open for 1 week so that you may have questions for the record. Mr. Patel, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Meeting's adjourned.
Now it looks like, let's see if we got it. Does it end? Tom Tillis and Kash Patel shake hands. Yeah, it just cut off, but they shook hands after that.
Yes, sir.
So they shook hands after he called out Alex Jones and Steve Bannon.
Yes, sir. And I've got a rant. You ready?
You
tell me when you say go, buddy, I'm ready.
Go.
I am so very excited to see what I saw yesterday with Kash Patel and his direct testimony to the Senate and the way that Mr. Tillis right there characterized the problem that we are having on social media. Let me explain it to you, and let me explain it to you very, very simply so you can take it to the bank, okay? We are not at war. We are not at war. We are not at war. the warmongers, the neocons. Well, you know what they are? Let me think. Let me look through my little tab. What is it? What are they at? Oh, yeah. They are at war. Okay? They are at war with you. They are at war with your mind. It is called info wars for a reason. They are weaponizing information against you. The psychological narratives are against you. You are the mark. You are the target. You are the one that sits there and you read through this stuff and you suck it into your brain and then it infects your brain but next thing you know, there is no brain left. It gets turned to mush whenever you listen to this nonsense. We have been on the trail of this for so long now that it is absolutely pathetic that there is not 150 podcasts that are standing up to this nonsense the way that we are. It's absolutely pathetic because there's nobody else that's doing it except for us, and we've been doing it at nauseum for years now. I am tired of this. I am tired of people telling me that I'm at war. I'm tired of General Flynn telling everybody on my side to get up every morning and go to war with the left. The war is not real, okay? America is founded on ideas. Ideas. Do you have a good idea? Do you have a good idea in that marshmallow brain of yours, Steve Bannon? Do you have a good idea in that literal, inverted, nonsensical freaking wormy thing between your ears, Alex Jones? No, you don't. None of you do. You don't have a good thing to say about nothing. All that you do is you destroy. We can tell who you are. The communist Marxists will not build a damn thing. They'll never pick up a nail, they'll never pick up a hammer, and they'll never put two sticks of wood together. What they will do is they'll burn the wood, hide the hammer, and throw the nail away. That's who these people are. That's 100% who they've always been. That's 100% who they will always be. And my position will always be, whenever you come to see what I have to say, these people are lying scumbags, including Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson. I'm sorry, guys, but these people are lying to you, and they're making stuff up, and they're making millions and millions of dollars by doing it, and they're literally whitewashing, brainwashing, and obfuscating the truth to millions of Americans.
Wow. And, you can take all those little, it's funny. Guitar Anon says that he wants General Flynn to sue us for asking a political figure questions and by showing evidence of why we think he is allegedly partly responsible with Roger Stone, General Flynn, Charlie Flynn, General, with January 6th. And they use that against you all the time. Russia, Russia, Russia. They use it against Trump the whole time. He was fired. He's not part of our movement. Right now, and again, I am not Steve Bannon. I am not the Flynn Network. I am officially and have officially I'm departed. They are dearly departed. Okay. They're dead to me, and they have no bearing on any conversation that I have because they come at me with just insults, just like the Dems do. They're the ones using the stochastic terrorism against my show. You guys, who he wears red shoes, he went to see Ramtha, he went to stop it. Answer the questions. Answer the questions. Answer the questions, damn it.
And the group that calls Q a CIA psyop, the group that says, the Q, all of that group, they all agree. They don't like us because we paid attention to what Donald Trump was sharing to us whenever he did an information back channel dissemination project called Q. Okay, Flynn says it's the CIA telling you exactly how the bloodlines co-opted your country and outed them to the world so that we could generate an online movement that is actually, partially the part of the reason why you see people doing tribute to Charlie Kirk in Europe and in Australia and in other countries is because of Q. Part of the reason that you see all these people standing up and putting on MAGA hats in foreign countries is because of Q, because we got the information out past the breaker. That was the point of Q. Q was not about like some sort of sit down in the corner of a room and we're going to itemize this and go through it. It's going to be this person, this person, this person, and this person. No, Q was about releasing information to the public through a dissemination project for you to do with it whatever it is you would like to do with it. Q was hoping that we would pick up the mantle and spread it around. And like I said a second ago, Jeff, I'm very disappointed that there isn't enough, we should have a whole crew of podcast colleagues that are in the same boat that are being attacked by these same people, but we don't. We've just got this one. This is the only podcast that these people attack. You will not see them attack anybody else because we can connect everybody else to their network.
Yeah. And real quick, let's see. Let me just see, because this is interesting. Okay. Wait. Where is it? Because I want you guys to see, remember, General Flynn promoted the I am going to be President Trump is going to be the president for the last 4 years, not this 4 years, the last 4 years.
Right.
And look at this. Look at what he's promoting now. This timeline and set of statements have to be part of any serious investigation. Every Israeli connection to Charlie Kirk's assassination. Look at
this is General.
Look at what General Flynn is doing.
This is his psyop right here. This is his little baby. This Hinkle guy is one of his bros. And I'm not even going to get into that guy today. There's this dude is a complete racist nutbag. Yes. Yeah. I mean, like racist guys. Like, oh my God. And so now you have to understand something different. The left has been saying these things to us. Oh, well, they're all these white supremacists. Yes, these people are. These people like Bannon's group and all these people, they're white supremacists. They're attacking Jewish people. They're doing exactly what the Nazis did. Why is that so hard to see, everybody?
Yeah. On my own, I stopped listening to all those named sources. Any discerning individual could see how they suck you in and then try massaging messages to make one's brain explode. I am over it. D-Mile USN, thank you so much. I agree. It took us some time, right? We had to walk this walk and live our life in order to figure this out. And they're mad, and they still attack this show to this day. Wow. Little old us, Shady?
Little old us. And you know what's interesting is like none of you guys that are paying attention, that have been paying attention, they can't get you back. This is why they're mad at us. Once someone sees through their BS and what we are saying, even if you don't listen to us anymore, you're never going to go back and listen to them.
That's right. Yeah. Musically medicated. You guys did so much work. We sure did.
Thank you.
Real quick, let's go look at this Shade of Grove. This is Cash Yap Patel, name to remember, eviscerating Swallowwell.
Oh, I'm excited. I was going to go get this one on my own if you wouldn't even play it.
20 of those individuals have been investigated or have had adverse actions. Director, considering that you have identified these people as, quote, government gangsters, will you recuse yourself from making any investigation decisions about these individuals?
Anyone that has been terminated at the FBI has been done
the question
they failed
again,
to meet the muster
Director,
and their constitutional obligation.
I will work on the audio-visual capabilities.
I'm going to borrow your terminology and call bullshit on your entire career in Congress.
I'm reclaiming my time,
It has been
Director.
a disgrace to the American people. You can reclaim your time all you want.
Mr. Chairman, you're going to allow a witness to speak, Mr. Swag? Mr. Chairman, would you
recuse yourself, Director? The gentleman has no time.
Mr. Chairman, would you admonish the witness not to insult members?
Gentlemen, 20 of those individuals.
I love it. And now I'm sure the White House is really upset about that. Oh, wait. That's from Rapid Response 47 saying Director Cash Patel nukes Swallowwell. Wow. So the White House is in lockstep with Director Patel. There's...
Yeah, this is a message to Jackie Heinrich at Fox News, who writes this nonsensical story yesterday that everybody repeats. Oh, embattled FBI director goes to Donald Trump's desk begging to keep his job. That's the psyop coming out of Fox News that they're feeding into everybody at the same time. If you're paying attention, you will notice that every single thing coming out of every single one of these people's mouths is to degrade Trump's power, to degrade his administration, or to degrade some aspect of his administration or cabinet.
Yeah. I mean, I'm telling you guys, and then you've got, I mean, my God.
Crazy.
Yeah. Wow. Just the insane psychological operations are insane, guys.
They are professionals, and they have been putting this stuff together for decades and decades, and they're very, very good at it. That's why it looks appealing. That's why it's shiny whenever you see it.
So we are going to go ahead, because we missed this. We're going to go watch the 5 minutes that the White House wants us to watch. For Director Cash Patel. Okay, the White House Rapid Response wants you to see this. 5 minutes of FBI Director Cash Patel going through the historic accomplishments at the FBI since the start of President Trump's second term, Shady.
Can we get a 47?
Let's get a 47. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Real quick, thank you, Land of Hoy 2. Okay, not to watch. We got that one. Mikey, boy, I needed one of those. Thank you, Jules. The Democrats don't even know what to do other than war. No policies. Amen. Good post, and thank you so much.
And I agree with that statement right there, Finn. The cabinet members that are complaining about are most probably doing the best job. That's exactly what I think is happening. I think that that's the reason that Flynn and company are so aggravated at Pam and Dan and Cash, because, you know, the Comeys of the world are going to make sure that the right things aren't investigated. Yeah. Cash and company could be like a bunch of cowboys in there looking under every rock, and it looks like they found some burn bags, to say the least.
And we got Ray, you're naked. We got a naked person in here. Ray W17, welcome. Good to see you. And here is all of the accomplishments since POTUS's second term has started by FBI Director Kashyap Patel. Name to remember.
Count the winning.
Under this administration, the FBI has arrested more than 23,000 violent criminals. 23,000 in 7 months. That's twice as many year to date last year. We've taken over 6,000 firearms off the streets. 6,000 guns are no longer in the hands of criminals in 7 months. We've identified and found and located 4,700 child victims. That is a 35% increase year to date last year. We have arrested 1,500 child predators. That is a 10% increase year to date last year in just 7 months. We've assisted our partners with countless counterterrorism operations around the world. We've captured, at the FBI, 4 of the most top 10 wanted fugitives in the world in 7 months. To put that in perspective, that's as many as my predecessor nabbed in the entirety of the Biden administration. We got 4, we got more coming. On top of that, in 2 weeks, thanks to the help of the CIA, we collected and captured one of the individuals responsible for the horrific Abbey Gate bombing that led to the murder of 13 service members. We did that in 2 weeks. They didn't do it in the 4 years of the entire prior administration. Nationwide, we've been executing our Operation Summer Heat, the FBI's national focus on targeting violent crime based on intelligence-driven operations. Ask the citizens of Seattle, Miami, Memphis, Charlotte, Chicago, New Orleans. To specifically highlight New Orleans and Nashville, there has been a 250% increase in violent crime arrests in those cities alone, and other mid-major cities that I've just listed. In just a few short months, we have already unleashed 1,000 FBI personnel across this country. Every single state across this country is getting a plus up. This is a fiction that the FBI is short or that we are compromising the men and women in the field. They do not need to be in Washington, D.C., so we're sending them into the field to each and every one of your states. Because of that, crime is at an all-time low. We had to do it because of the explosion of crime. And maybe the most important stat for Americans to realize: in just 7 months, we are on track to produce the lowest murder rate in modern U.S. history by double digits. Those are results not of mine. Those are results of the men and women of the FBI. If you want to criticize me, bring it on, but do not attack the brave leaders in the field. We are also working 24/7, 365 on the opioid epidemic that is killing more than hundreds of thousands of people a year. We have seized 1,600 kilograms of fentanyl off the streets so far in 7 months. Year to date, 25% increase. To put that in perspective, that's enough to kill a third of the American population, 120 million Americans. 100,000 kilograms of cocaine and meth gone off the streets. Earlier this year, I highlighted in Cincinnati, Ohio, how we're getting creative to chase down those that were willing to do harm to our citizens, not just by striking at the heart of the fentanyl producers, but the fentanyl precursor companies in China. And we indicted for the first time multiple companies and individuals, not just in America, but in mainland China, that are producing the ingredients that produce and make fentanyl that kill our children. And we're going to keep going. Counterterrorism work, cyber attacks, and foreign adversaries are something the FBI must never sleep on, and we are not sleeping. In the counterintelligence space alone, this year, year to date,
burning the midnight oil,
30% increase in counterintelligence arrests from the DPRK, Russia, Iran, and China. And I want the American people to know, in this setting, there's a lot of work that the brave men and women of the FBI are doing we just can't get into, but they don't stop. Our cyber threats, ransomware attacks, those harming our children online, We have nearly a 20% increase in indictments arrests in 7 months alone this year. We're going after those that harm our malware, infrastructure systems, telecom systems, and energy structure. Combating SALT and Vault typhoons are just a little bit of the examples we're doing. Maybe most importantly, under the counterterrorism and domestic terrorism umbrella, are nihilist, violent extremists, and those that label themselves 764, who wish to go online and convince children to maim and mutilate themselves and commit suicide.
That was all fake, Kyle.
I thought that was Jews.
Yeah, I thought it was. Yeah, it was, and it's all fake.
We are producing record numbers of arrests under that umbrella organization. We even stopped an individual in the 764 network who wanted to conspire to kill an adolescent girl. He is now in custody. Transparency remains one of my main priorities at the FBI. And this is what I've done in my 7 months at the helm. We've produced more than 33,000 pages of documents to Congress to a variety of committees, including, I believe, 7,500 to this committee alone.
So who lost count? I've lost count, guys. Keep going, Cash.
Memory serves me correct.
Is it?
But the 30.
Is it interesting that isn't it interesting that like all of the people that are good-hearted American people that are law-abiding people, they're extremely excited about Kash Patel and exactly what he's doing right now. And all of the people that aren't and out there in the psychological operating world, why are they so in lockstep and agreement with the criminals?
3,000 in perspective. My predecessor in 7 years produced 13,000 pages in total to the United States Congress. His predecessor in 4 years produced 3,000 pages in total. I repeat, I have produced 33,000 pages in 7 years to this Congress and will continue to do so. I'm dedicated to restoring the trust and the mission and the integrity of the FBI, and we cannot do so without congressional oversight, and I promise you I will continue to do so.
Wow, I lost count. Man. And thank you. And you know what? Thank you. I hate to say it, right? But Bongino is doing a great job, Shady.
I agree with that.
I don't hate to say it. I love to say it because I don't wish any harm or ill on people that are serving my president and we the people, Donald J. Trump and us, guys. That's who they're serving, not them.
And I'm not immune to giving people criticism if I think that they deserve it, okay? I look at what these people are saying. I read their criticisms. I understand what they are saying. They are not good criticisms. Anybody, listen. You, as a human being, can look at anything and make up a criticism. It's supposed to be genuine. In your heart, if you have a criticism, it's supposed to be from you. It's not supposed to be echoed from someone else. So if some of these people, like I said, I had contention with the idea of RFK. I had contention with Dan Bongino. I was kind of suspect of Tulsi Gabbard. Those were my own perspectives. But if I had seen a criticism that I had agreed with, I would explain to you why I agree with that criticism. So I'm just saying that to temper what we're doing here. We're not just agreeing to agree. We're seeing that the critique is unsubstantiated and not really legitimate.
That's right. And I want to end the show real quick talking about the royal family. Your president, Donald J. Trump, the ultimate red carpet. Listen to Piers Morgan, Shady. Check this out.
No question. I think this is a real statement by the king and by the senior members of the royal family. I mean, it's very rare they all get together like this for a visit by a foreign leader. They're doing it to make a point. I think they recognize the world feels a little bit precarious right now. You have two raging wars in Ukraine and in Gaza, and you have a lot of people, particularly since the appalling murder of Charlie Kirk, I think are feeling very tense about the way that issues like free speech are going in the world. And I think that the royal family want to make a statement. They are aligning themselves very publicly today with the President of the United States, who they know actually believes in his heart fundamentally in the principles of free speech, as indeed do they. So I think that this is it's a statement by the royal family. We're going to roll out the ultimate red carpet. And again, just to stress, I've not seen this done for any other world leader. This is unprecedented. And bearing in mind that Donald Trump is getting a second state visit, but the first one was for a different monarch. So nobody has ever, U.S. president or anybody else, has ever had a state visit with two different monarchs. So that, again, I think is an important thing to say. Last time it was with Queen Elizabeth. This time it's with her eldest son, King Charles. That is real history. And I keep coming back to how his mother would feel, Donald Trump's mother, Mary, how she would have felt about this, watching her son, just on a human level, having these extraordinary moments with the Queen and then with the King. I mean, really remarkable, I think.
There's one king.
UK submitted, Shady Grove. And by the way, we're already getting word of new deals that we're getting from the UK guys. We're getting deals. I think, let me just double check who it is. $30 billion from GlaxoSmithKline, $30 billion to U.S. research and development factory expansion as Trump visits the UK. By the way, the Trump administration is also unveiling changes to the U.S. citizenship, and the White House unveils the letter that President Trump will send new citizens. We'll talk about that tomorrow, guys. But wow, what a great show. What a great showing by Kash Patel, who is a name to remember. And Donald J. Trump is probably loving his candor and vigor with these ass hat senators, Shady, and House
members and senators. And yes, I agree with you 100%. And thank you all so much. Thank you. And great job. I would want to end the show today with a compliment to all of you out there that I've watched you in the last few days navigate what I would consider the most aggressive onslaught of psychological operations against you due to the Charlie Kirk incident. I'm watching you navigate it flawlessly. Continue to do what you're doing. Get out there and support us a little bit. We're taking the fight to the enemy.
Yeah. And I love it. And we're doing it. And the enemy is infiltrated into your movement, guys. It's time to recognize it. J.D. Vance covered it yesterday, okay? And we found the Susie Wiles psychological operation. That was by the Flynn Network, Shady Grove.
Absolutely was, and we proved it without a doubt.
Mahalo, Rush. God bless you all. Thank you so much. It is Trump Day, September Qth. It is the 17th. God bless you all. We'll see you tomorrow, Wednesday. Shady Group, thank you. Wet Yeti, thank you for everything. I love you all. God bless you. And, any last Rebel rants? We'd love it. Thank you so much.
Constitution Day, too, by the way.
Constitution Day.
Yeah.
What is your weapon, Shady?
My Constitution.
Boom. Let's go.
And there's a reason that people are like this. Because people, for the most part, are mindless sheep. The Illuminati are absolutely correct. I have discovered this. It has been one of the greatest disappointments of my life to discover that most people, the people that I have been battling for, the people that I have laid my life down for you can be sure that when the New World Order comes into power, my life is forfeit for the work that I have done. It has been the greatest disappointment to find out that they are absolutely right about most of what they call the masses. Whenever you hear somebody use that term, they're usually one of them. Are nothing but cattle, sheep, mindless animals, steaks on the table and beasts of burden by choice and consent. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's true. It's because from the beginning people are taught to be stupid, taught not to think, not to challenge, taught not to ask questions. You can't even figure out what's going on in your own neighborhood, much less how to stop this New World Order or what to do about it. And so many of you are so absolutely ignorant and stupid. You see, I'm sick of it, folks. You're not going to win anything. You're not going to escape anything, and you're not going to get liberty back. Not at all. You're too stupid to do it. You're too ignorant to do it. You've got too many agendas of your own, most of which are to keep your little fantasies going around you so that you never have to look at the truth and so that you never have to be blamed for anything. But the truth is, if you want to know what's wrong with this country, ladies and gentlemen, go look in the mirror. Go look in the mirror. And you will see exactly what's wrong with the United States of America staring at you in the glass. And I'm just sick to death of it. I am so sick of the lies and the hypocrisy and the bullshit and the manipulations. And you think that you're going to create a world of liberty and freedom? No, these people are going to enslave you because you must be enslaved, because you've got to be controlled, because you can't control yourselves. You can't decide upon the truth. I'm beginning to have a much greater respect for the Illuminati than I ever have in the past. You know, they've been telling me for years, Bill, these people will spit on you. We know that you're telling them the truth, but they don't want to hear the truth, and that's why they have to be controlled and manipulated and led to the slaughter. And I always said in my stupidity, no, you're wrong. You see, you've been hiding the truth from them. All you have to do is show them the truth, and things will be better. It will change. We'll have a good world, peace on earth. Nobody will have to kill anybody again. We can live in freedom and liberty, responsible with the truth. Boy, what a fool I have been all these years.
www.mg.show. Share the show. Hit the like. God bless you all. Ducks, thank you. Abs, WIO, thank you. We love you all. Boom.